let's get going. All right. This is wrong, so let me edit it right now. But here we go. So welcome everyone to SCR's General Meeting for March 29th, 2022. I hope everyone is having a good week. I know I am. So prepared for today. Obviously, we're going to be going over the shout outs first. We're going to be talking about the bake sale. We're going to be talking about the next general meeting. Next general meeting is going to be the biggest one this year, maybe, or second biggest. We'll see. We're going to be talking about the Zenith paint job. We're going to be, I misspelled hobby lead info session, competition information, leadership positions, and then at the end of the updates, we'll be talking about a video competition, and then sub-team updates, and finally questions. So a lot to cover today. A lot of those things we've been covering over the last 2 weeks, so I'll go over them pretty fast. But first off, shout outs. We're going to give a shout out to Gustavo for a donation that he made to SCR. Thank you, Gustavo. We really appreciate those. Also, Christian for working on the black powder and CO2 sizing calculator. Thank you very much, Christian. I know he's been really active this year. You've been doing great along with recovery. You are awesome. Only 2 shout outs this week. Let's see who can get in here next week. So besides that, let's move on to the announcements and deadlines. Of course, the SCR bake sale is March 31st. That is in 2 days. That is on Thursday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're going to have cookies and donuts. It's going to be by the Student Center South. It's by the food court. Maybe you can kind of tell from that picture here. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to have music there. We're going to be selling cookies and just fundraise for the future of the team. So we created a group on Discord already for the people who are volunteering. But please, I really need your help with this. So if you're free at all throughout this time, just send me a DM right now or after the meeting, letting me know that you can help out. I really do need your help. And honestly, if you go, it'll be like more of social than actually volunteering. You'll just be able to hang out with us and have a good time. But also for next week, it will be in person. I know we planned it this week to have it in person. However, we had an issue with the college that handles the whole the reserving room situation. So we're gonna hold the food and everything else for next week. It's gonna be at L2D2 at 7 p.m. This was gonna be a huge one. There's gonna be a lot to talk about, and I think the biggest thing is gonna be the fact that we're gonna be announcing the project manager and chief engineer for next year. So yeah, we've interviewed everyone who was interested so far. Everyone has been great. Everyone has been doing a really good job and really put themselves out there. So I can't wait for y'all to find out who's going to be taking over my position and also Gustavo's position next year. So yeah, there'll also be some food. It will probably be pizza again. So if you want to have a dinner with us and have some snacks, just please show up. And as we've mentioned last time, if anyone you know is even like remotely interested in aerospace, if they want to show up, even if they're not part of the team, they are welcome to. Matter of fact, we encourage you all to invite friends, especially if you're like a freshman, sophomore, or junior, and you know people who want to put in the work for next year or who want to like join the team this summer. If that's what the new leads decide to do, just bring them. I think it'll be really fun. It'll be more like a social event. So just get anyone you know to come. And then also huge announcement right now. So I'm working on my L1. I know Ravi and my brother Carlos is also working on their L1. Since I have a lot more time now, I think over the next week, I'm going to be working so much on my L1. We plan to launch on April 9th. As soon as I have more information, I will be sending out a form for those who are interested in going. As soon as everything's planned out, I'll be reaching out to all the Triple E people who organize the event. You'll see it on the general chat, so keep an eye out for that. Hobby rocketry / L1 events are actually really fun. We get to drive for like 2.5 hours and go a little bit up north of like where A&M is, College Station. It's a super fun event. It's more like a social than anything else. So if you want to just go hang out, talk to me, talk to the other members, get to know the members from other sub teams that you really don't know, this is such a great opportunity. And then also we are looking for a new hobby rocketry lead. I think this is a really good opportunity for those who do plan to have a big, I guess, leadership position in the future. So if you are interested in that, scan that QR code on the bottom right there. I think it's just 3-4 questions that we ask about yourself, just like your name and stuff like that. Honestly, anyone on the team can do this, and we will be guiding you. We will have like actual goals set for you and so on. This is a really good opportunity, and as the name says, it's like a hobby. It'll be really fun. So just fill that out. It'll be great. Next up on the updates, let's talk about the Zenith Paint Shop Design Competition. So we got more information from IA Coatings, and we have decided to have more information today for the competition. So basically the way we're going to be painting Zenith is with AI Coatings. They are so generous. They have so much knowledge. They have so many things to teach us. All we need now is basically to complete whatever we need as the like for the airframe and the bow tone stuff, and then just choose a design. Like it is like open-ended. You can make it whatever you want and whatever way you want to make it look, as long as you follow these few things here. We have our primary colors being red, navy, and white, and then our secondary colors being those first three, and also black and gray. So if you come up with the design that you want the rocket to look like, not only is going to be like your own design and your own, like it'll be yours, but also you'll be sponsored for Spaceport. And I think this is huge. And I'll talk about it right now too after this. If your design wins, you'll be sponsored for Spaceport. So I think that's a really good incentive for anyone who's interested. So if you are interested in competing or just having your own like design, DM me like right now or like after the meeting. It doesn't have to be amazing, right? If you just have a good design from the beginning and then we can like work on it together, that's great. So just send me that DM and we'll get going. And then as far as competition goes, we're going to competition. I know I'm not emphasizing it that much here, but we do have the funding. Basically what happened, I'll explain the later slide. But we are deciding to increase the number of taking 14 people to 16 people this year, as being like sponsored and being able to stay with us. Around 12 people will be part of like the competition team who are actually going to be physically working on the rocket at the competition, which includes Gustavo and me, the sub-team leads, and then like sub-team leads plus ones. So if you are interested at going at all, competition team or not, just scan that QR code, fill it out. And then I think the deadline we have is April 16th. I think I took it off from here, but please complete that. It doesn't matter what year you're in. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable or how much you know. We just want to give you all the experience of going to competition. It's really great to have to get the hands-on, like high pressure, like on the spot experience that you need, because you will need that at some point in your career. So if you get started on early, it'll be great. And then you'll also be able to meet professionals in the industry. If you're interested in aerospace, which I hope you are since you're here, you'll be able to build your network, get to meet people like Randy, people who work for these crazy companies that you might want to work for in the future. They'll be in there. And also I think it'll be a really, really good team bonding experience. It will be like a social in a way. So if you are, just scan that QR code there. Maybe you'll be in that picture on the top right whenever we do go. But yeah, moving on.
Hold on. Can you go back to the previous slide?
Okay.
Okay. I just want to say the design does need to be completed within the next like week and a half. Like we need that like ASAP. There's no date on here or anything, but I just want to keep that in mind. Like if you do want to participate in this, you're gonna need to like hop on it like this weekend if you're interested.
Yeah, so if you want to get sponsored for this, anyone is able to enter. We just need to get done as soon as possible. The sooner you message me, even if any interest at all, just DM me right now. I'll convince you. I'll convince you to actually work on this. So please DM me. We need to get this done really fast. Thank you, Haley, for that reminder. But yeah, okay, a little bit more about the competition. Again, it's going to be in Las Cruces, New Mexico, June 20th to the 26th. How much? Even if you're sponsored, or if you're sponsored, all you will have to pay is $75. That's it. You will not have to worry about anything else besides your food and what you're going to be drinking. Who's going? As I said, it will be April 15th for those who are sponsored. If you're not being sponsored and we have to like organize something else for those people who have to pay everything for themselves, that will be May 15th, okay? And I know I've mentioned in the past that we wanted to stay at Airbnb. However, this amazing opportunity came out. Spaceport sent us a message saying that the Garcia Hall dormitory at New Mexico State University had really cheap options to stay in their Spaceport, and they are very cheap. And basically, we're gonna be staying at like some dorms, 4 people, 1 bathroom. There's a lot more information to come. I've been sending them emails back and forth to see exactly what we need and what they offer. But you can see a picture there how beautiful that place looks. If anything, I think there's even more for like a team bonding experience. We'll be able to be there in that college, be able to go drive to competition. It will be really fun for those who are interested. But I think the biggest thing that comes with this opportunity is that we'll be able to save a lot of money for not this year, but also carry on for next year. For those who are not going to graduate anytime soon, you'll be able to see that money in the next competition. But with that said, last few updates before I play a video for y'all, and when I'm gonna struggle with trying to share my audio, is if you're interested in being project manager or chief engineer, like if you've just thought about yourself being project manager or chief engineer, scan that QR code on the right. We'll decide April 5th. That will be next Tuesday. Next Tuesday's general meeting. We'll be telling you who it is. So complete that. We'll have an interview this weekend, and then we'll make that decision on Tuesday, or we'll announce the decision on Tuesday. As I mentioned, this last month will be like a transition period until Spaceport, especially once Spaceport is over, that will be the official project manager and chief engineer. And then same thing goes for sub-team leads. The decision is supposed to be made on April 19th. So if you're a current sub-team lead and you want to stay as sub-team lead, or if you're a new person trying to go into a position, complete it. I know a lot of y'all have. I think I scheduled everyone who's completed it to have an interview, and it's not going to be like a professional interview. It's just trying to get to know you and trying to see what your goals are with the team for next year. And it is a great opportunity. Like, not only can you like put it on your resume to help you out when you go into like competition, when you go and talk to recruiters, career fairs, but it also like gives you that hands-on experience, that like leadership position that you might want to have for your future. So scan that QR code if you can. Let me check the chat before I play the video real quick. I saw our last comment, pretty funny, but okay. Let's see if I can play this video real quick. It's about competition. And then after that, we'll move on to the sub-team updates. Share. Oh, I see it. I see it. It's gonna work now. All right. Can everyone see this? You don't see it?
I can see it.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna need y'all to tell me if you can hear it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Blaine.
I can hear it.
You can hear it? All right. So it's gonna be around 5 to yeah, it's gonna be around 5 to 6 minutes long. So here we go. I'm gonna let it play for y'all.
Seabolt, and for those of you that I haven't had a chance to meet yet, I am a 30-plus year producer for network sporting events. But most importantly, I have been in rocketry since my grandfather bought me my first rocket at about 5 years old, and been passionate about the sport ever since. Now, thanks to all the hard work from the great people at the Experimental Sounding Rocket Association, we're going to take the coverage of this year's Spaceport America Cup to an all-new level. We're going to approach this coverage just the same way we would approach any multi-day sporting event, say something like the Indy 500 that happens over several days. Now, with a production like that, we're working toward having hosted elements with the traditional play-by-play announcer and an expert color commentary host. We're also working toward using lots of great infographics, be it weather, be it stats on the teams, the past cups, things such as that. And in addition to all that, and this is where you teams have a great opportunity, we want to utilize a lot of roll-in packages produced by the teams. Those packages that highlight the school, the team, the project, and the passion behind why you guys are participating in Spaceport America Cup. So I'm going to outline what we're looking for from the teams and give your media team some tips on how to make your coverage stand out during our coverage of Spaceport America Cup. And there are 4 main segments that we're looking for from the teams. We're looking for the who, looking for the where, the what, and the why. The first storyline is the who, and just like you see at every football game you've ever watched, the introduction of the players on the team. This needs to be your top 5 people on your team. Now, this doesn't have to be a green screen cutout. You could shoot this anywhere around campus with any background. Maybe the rocket shop would be awesome. But what we'd like them to do is look into the camera and each team member say their name, their year classification, senior, junior, graduate student, etc. Their team title, their title they carry on the team, and then give a very brief description of the role that they play on that team. Now, I realize a lot of the teams may have a lot of members, but what we need to do is keep this to the top 5, 6, or 7 leaders of the team. The purpose of this introduction is during the event, during the live stream, if a team is making their way to the pad, if a team is prepping, knowing that they're going to launch, just like you see in a football game, it's nice to roll that introduction so the people watching the team prepare can get to know the people that are leading the team. The next storyline profile would be the where, and this is about a 5-minute profile of your school. Tell us about your school. Give us the current demographics. Give us some history on the school. Talk about how the rocketry team formed from the school, how it's supported, what's the history of the rocketry team, and its relation to the school itself. Now, the next is the what, and this is the good one. This is your chance to show off your project. Talk about the project in depth. Talk about it from conception to the beginning stages, testing, maybe some of the challenges you've encountered along the way. Spend a good 5 or 8 minutes going in depth and what the objectives are and what the project is supposed to do and what you hope to achieve at the Cup with this particular project. And finally, the why. Now, this is a little more open-ended. This is a chance for team members to express their feelings about why they're participating in this project, some of their goals, some of their aspirations about participating in this and what it means to them. They also can relate some of their experiences along the way and what that has taught them. Most importantly, think of this as the question that answers, why are you doing this? Why is your school participating, and why are you at Spaceport America Cup competing? Now, for a couple of tips for your media team that will be producing these stories. Remember, we're producing this just like we would a broadcast sporting event. So now media rights management is crucial this year. Please make sure that you have all of the rights to use all of the media that you use in your production. You can't just take your favorite song off the radio and make an edit with that, because unfortunately, if that happens, we then can't air it in our live stream production. And please don't use any movie clips or television clips, no matter how brief. I know that's used a lot in social media now, but we can't do that in our coverage. And also, if there's been a local news station that has come and done a feature on your team or any coverage of that kind, you can request in writing permission to utilize that coverage in your productions that you make. And even though you may get media from your school, make sure that from the school itself, you have written permission to utilize what's in your packages. Now, we intend to keep expanding our production of the Spaceport America Cup, and we just can't risk utilizing any footage that we do not own the rights to as we move forward. And lastly, I know the teams probably already have a lot of different productions done, not just that fit these 4 categories. So we would love to entertain anything the team may already have to see if it fits into our coverage and if it's something that we could utilize during the event. So please feel free to email me at livestream@esrarocket.org and send me a link so we can take a look at it. We can review it and see if this is something that we would love to be able to use, or if we can use during our coverage and add it to the production portfolio of the videos that your team has. Now, it's my job to make sure we produce the very best coverage of Spaceport America Cup this year. But it's also very important that we can put you, your team, and your school in the very best light possible, as it will serve to inspire other students to enter into the world of rocketry that we love so much, and perhaps get them to be participating in Spaceport America Cup next year. Again, thank you so much for your time. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns about the upcoming coverage of the Spaceport America Cup this year, and we'll see you at the Cup.
Okay. I hope
Can
we
I
don't
start
take
by asking if we have the license to play that on our recording?
to play that.
Yeah, when we upload it to YouTube.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so. I hope that wasn't too long, but the reason I wanted to play that is because I actually do need y'all's help. Last year we had to make like a 10 to 12 minute presentation of Zenith. And out of everything I've done for the team, that was the hardest thing I've done. Because I didn't have any experience with like making a video or editing or directing something. So I do need people who are ready to help me out to assemble like a production SCR studio to get this video done, because it will take a lot. It will take a lot of planning. And the reason why I want to put effort into this is because this is what we can share with companies, what we can share with alumni. Like, yo, look at this video. Look what we've done. Look how we were showing on Spaceport. And hopefully get more funding for the future, get more people interested. Maybe whenever we start recruiting for next year, we can have a few clips of these things. So although I don't have a QR code, or I don't have like any forms set up right now, just send me a message, just like everything else I mentioned today. Send me a DM. You will not have to do 1,000 things. We'll figure it out to whoever has experience, whoever can contribute the most. I just need a team right now. I need a team of people who want to work. And it was fun. I'm gonna tell you, last year, whenever we're filming the video, I laughed so hard so many times. You can ask Alex Blick. I don't know if he's here, but there was times, and I have a bloopers too. I have so many bloopers from that video we've made, where I just literally couldn't record anything because I was just laughing. So it's gonna be really fun. I just need some help, please. Any interest you have at all with this project, feel free to send me a DM. But that is it for that. I hope y'all enjoy the video. Maybe now y'all have an idea how serious this is gonna be. They literally want to make this like competition, like an F1 event. So yeah, it should be really fun. But finally, let's move on into the sub team updates. So first up is Payload.
Hi guys, so last week I started an additional E. coli culture on the agar at the petri dish. Right now I'm monitoring the viability of the bacteria as the growth curve kind of levels out. We're going to continue tests with the GoPro with battery capacity, the heat resistance and risk management. We're going to do a lot of stuff with the heat chamber, hopefully, and then visibility with lenses. We're looking into wiring options for the LEDs. There's a possibility that we have to make an adapter to an additional power supply for them. If we can't do that, we'll have to look into other lights. And then trade studies on 3D materials are in progress, thanks to Ollie and Kevin. There's like a little snip on the right of what they had for ABS, and I'm currently reading through that so far. I'm gonna go over it with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Izzy. I know we're meeting tomorrow to talk about testing and stuff, so you all definitely have a lot more work. You all have a lot more work to do pretty soon, in a good way, of course. So let's go recovery. No, your voice is like super low. I think it's because you're using your AirPods and not your Bose.
Okay.
What about now?
Sure, that's better. Keep
What about
talking.
now?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right. So last week for recovery was really productive. We did a lot last week, as you can see by all the pictures that we have. Last Wednesday, we actually put everything that's going to go inside the nose cone together, except for the ejection systems. So we started off by looking at different knots, and we decided that figure 8 would be the best one to use because it's really easy to make. And yeah, that was the main reason. It's really strong as well. You can see there we did like a tug test, and it didn't slip or anything. And then after that, we put the parachute together and we put everything inside the nose cone. And then you can see there on the second row, the two vertical pictures. The first one there, you can see what the recovery system would look like when the drogue is deployed. You can see that the shock proof for the drogue, which is the black and yellow parachute, is connected to the tender descenders, which is also connected to the main parachute bag, and that's connected to the and then the left side, you can see that there's another shock proof that is running from the
Hey, we can't hear you that well anymore.
and
We
then
can't hear you that well.
okay, and then on the picture to the right of that, you can see the recovery configuration for when the main parachute deploys. I know it's kind of hard to see. Or sorry, that's still the drogue, but that's what it would kind of look like when it's deploying. So the nose cone would be out of the way, and the drogue is catching all the air and has enough airspace. And then whenever tender descenders are triggered, the drogue would pull on the main parachute bag, deploy the main parachute. So when we did all this, we were trying to, number one, just practice putting everything together, but number two, we're trying to actually see how much volume the recovery system would take inside the nose cone. And you can see that on the third row, the two pictures there. So you can see that everything that we are going to use this year is kind of flush with where the top of the shoulder would sit. So in the recovery bay, we would actually have a lot of free space, since that space for the shoulder, there's nothing we can put there. So that's good news. We also completed the testing procedures for the drogue and the main parachute. We're planning on testing the coefficient of drag for the drogue tomorrow, and if we have the time, we'll try and test it for the main as well. So all the links are there. If you want to take a look. Oh, and we also weigh all the components, and the recovery system is going to be around 5.3 pounds, which is really light. Yeah.
Thank you, recovery. Honestly, I think it's so impressive how little space y'all need this year. last year y'all needed so much more, and the fact that you were able to optimize it to this little space is amazing. I do have a question though. From testing the knots, I don't know if I missed it right now, which one turned out to be best?
It's the one at the bottom, or actually, it's that's the same knot. That's the same knot. Just that one of them is only using, I guess, like one layer of cord, and then the second and third picture are using two.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
Also, I know I don't remember if it was Ravi who mentioned that we needed a new scale. What issues did
Yeah.
y'all run into in that regard?
Well, there's not necessarily an issue. I think it would just be more convenient to have a bigger scale, because the one that's in the lab, like the amount of surface there is to work with is really small. So if you need to measure something kind of big, it's kind of awkward.
Okay.
We've had issues with that too, as far as like weighing the nose cone and stuff to get like more accurate dimensions. It's just not possible with such a small scale.
Okay, that's definitely something we're gonna have to look into this weekend then. Thank you for letting us know. All right. Thank you, Carlos, Fernando. Next
Psych.
up. Oh, wait.
We're
Oh,
not done. We're not done.
oh, is this is the first time we have 2 slides for a sub team. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I said we did a lot. We did a lot. Look,
Y'all
right,
did, y'all did.
we also worked on the calculator. As you can see, there was a lot of work. But there is three different sections. The first section is basically takes the dimensions of the nose cone and transforms that geometry to an equivalent cylinder. And that's so in the second part we can simplify how much black powder we need, the calculation for that. So the first part, we got a 6-inch diameter cylinder that would be 18.87 inches long, which is important in for like the third section, which I'll come back to. Then the second part, the calculator said that we need 1.77 grams of black powder to generate 180 pounds of force. The good thing about this calculator is that we can input how much force we want to generate, which depends on how many shear pins and how much weight you're going to push off of the airframe. And then for the third section here is where we were asking for help in the general chat. And basically what we're doing is we want to find out how much pressure we're generating on all the surfaces inside the recovery bay. But the calculation for finding the surface area of the nose cone is more complicated than pi r square. And you can see there on the first row, that second picture, and the first picture on the second row, you can see 2 different methods that we use to try and calculate it. And then on the second picture on the second row, you can see that highlighted red, those highlighted red numbers. And we got 304 using the first method, and then we got 299 using the second method. I think for our purposes, this is a good enough. Both of them were really close to the actual value based on SolidWorks, which was 285, I believe. So I think we could definitely use either one of those. But I was talking with Christian because he's the one who's been helping me out with this a lot, and he wanted to offer the whole team the opportunity to give it one last shot. To see if we could get like the actual analytical solution using the formula for the shape of the nose cone. So if anybody wants to give it a shot, you can, but I'm warning you right now, it's really complicated. But if you're up to the challenge, feel free to do so. And last thing, I feel like I've been talking for a while now, but last thing is that using the that first picture on the third row, Using the surface area that we get, we can calculate how much pressure we're generating inside the snowstorm, which is the second value there. So 0.6 atmospheres. So using all of that, it gives us that we would need 10.34 grams of CO2 to generate that pressure, which is dependent on how much force we want to generate on the previous section. And then comparing that to that last picture on the third row, this is from the CD3's instruction manual. You can see there the length of the recovery bay and the diameter you're using. From the first section, we have a 6-inch radius or diameter, sorry, that's 18 inches long, which puts us right between, or like somewhere between 12 grams to 16 grams of CO2. And these are the cartridges, right? So they come in these set sizes. So based on that, I feel like the calculator gives us a really good approximation as to what CO2, what amount of CO2 we would need. So that there's kind of some validation for our calculator. That's it.
Hey, that was really good stuff. I mean, I know you, Arturo, Scott, and Christian have been working on that on the general chat. So if anyone can figure it out, we will be really, really thankful. But thank you so much, Recovery. That was a lot of great work. Don't worry if you have to go along and talk for a while. The better you inform us and everyone on the team of what you're doing, the best. But thank y'all. Keep up the good work. Oh, by the way, have I mentioned that we do have awards at the end of the year for like sub team of the year, member of the year, rookie of the year, and things like that. So I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. We'll see who comes out at top. All right, next up is structures.
Okay, so not too much could be added on from next week, from last week, but for the boat tail, we, as I mentioned last week, we finished our first attempt and we noticed that it's really just a little bit flimsier than we would hope it would be. And it wasn't quite fitting in the Oberon airframe, but Gustavo went and tested it today and it seems like it actually does, it does fit into our new airframe, so that's one less thing to worry about. We are going to be starting a new 3D print with a 6-inch shoulder based on some of the things that I mentioned last week, where it seems like the body caliber for the shoulder is going to be necessary regardless of what precautions we take to avoid the necessity of it. We are going to have Chris from IA Coatings meet up with us either this week or next, depending on what works out with their schedules best, especially since he can only really do earlier in the day. It makes it kind of difficult for all students scheduling. That's been interesting. We will be starting those new negatives either this Friday or next, depending on when we can meet with Chris. Especially since Tracy Sr. said that he may try and start on some epoxy resin for us to work with that might be infused with some graphene, which would be really great because it'll help strengthen our molds and our boat tail. And then we can also use that with our MMM layup, which we have made the decision to go with a long tube that has multiple centering rings attached to it. I can go ahead and add the CAD to next week's meeting so y'all can actually get an idea of what that looks like. The fins have been purchased. The carbon fiber cloth order will be purchased soon. And I'll kind of explain a bit more next week about the tip-to-tip layup that we're considering so y'all can get a better idea of where structures is going with that. Those are our main two projects right now. Yeah, so we'll have something next week for y'all to kind of get a better visual of it. And that's the main things that we've been focusing on.
Thank you, Haley. I did ask Dom today, I think he's listening because he's in the meeting, if he could help us cutting the fins, and he said yes. And I know Analysis will be able to be there with them because Ravi asked. So that's going to be really, really fun. We'll be sharing videos and a lot of other stuff as far as the building of the fan scale, but also structures. Just, I guess, a favor I want y'all to do, since that we have to record that video, is if you could record videos of yourselves working on anything and taking a lot of pictures. I know you've
Get
been doing it
so
already.
many pictures.
Hey, start with the videos. That's gonna really help out. But the pictures have been amazing. Thank you all so much for that. But let's move on now. Thank you, Haley. Good work. To avionics.
Okay, some things we're working on this week. We are working on completing documentation for trade studies. We're working on our flight computer code. We finished debugging it. However, there seems to be some wiring issues. Kurt will be working on that once he gets better. We're also finalizing battery testing, updating the pre-flight checklist. Melissa will be putting Linux on the SD card this Thursday, and we will be continuing research for a seamless recovery / avionics / payload design. We also got the telemetrium call sign is now finally reprogrammable, so we are able to work with recovery as soon as possible. We're also having our round 2 for pressure testing. This will be the official pressure testing. So if you guys are interested, please scan the QR code to your right. That way we can schedule something that'll work best for everyone. And then last but not least, I thought that this was pretty cool. We have an opportunity to for Fermilab. So Dr. Hungerford sent out an email. He said, please ask someone on the AIAA team who is able to work on electronics, contact me. I can provide some financial support for a few months to complete a high voltage, remotely controlled system for an experiment at Fermilab. So if you're interested, the email is down below. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Good work. Let's move on now to propulsion.
What's up? Can y'all hear me? Yeah. All right. So basically, Ozzy bought some sugar and stump remover before we came in, and stump remover is just potassium nitrate. Took it out and put it in a little glass jar so it looks fancy. But essentially what we did was Scott has a coffee grinder that we're going to be using to be blending the potassium nitrate so that it's more fluffy, like the consistency of powdered sugar, basically, so that whenever we do mix it with the sugar, it'll be a nicer blend and it'll burn more evenly. So as you can see at the lab, that's him blending the potassium nitrate, and that's us putting it in the cup, and we're just looking at it, seeing if it was good. And Scott's had experience with potassium nitrate before because he made his own rocket candy before. So he was even saying like, oh, it's smooth, it's good. So yeah, we're good with that. We also made the instructions for the fuel making process so that next week, whenever we do make the fuel, we'll all be good. We're waiting for the rest of the materials to be purchased. I think all we really need now is clay and some paper towel rolls, which we're going to be using for the motor casing and the end caps. So for this week, we're essentially going to be making the fuel. It might be during the weekend because it's not going to be at the lab. So we're still deciding where it's going to be. It's probably going to be either me or Ozzy's house. Probably going to be in like my backyard or something. Y'all want to come, y'all can. Yeah,
Hey,
that's it.
Hey, thank you, Adrian. I'll tell you that this is the future of the team right here. Propulsion. I know what they're working on doesn't actually like relate to Zenith that much, but if you're like a freshman or a sophomore and you want to be chief engineer, project manager, or any position in the future, like the stuff they're working on is amazing. I can share with y'all like the oxidizer injection system that a capstone team worked on last year. It's pretty impressive. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but if you can get a head start on all that stuff, that'd be great. But I think analysis. Okay, how can I forget analysis? Let's go, Ravi. Come on.
Well, very, very offended. Thanks, bro. But yeah, hope everyone's having a good week and hope you have been having a good birthday. For analysis this past week, not the greatest news or update, but I was looking at the updated recovery component weights in OpenRocket, and it turns out that if we keep our stability and we don't project adding the weight to the nose cone, or if we keep our setup and don't look at adding weight to the nose cone, our stability is 1.2, which won't be good for spaceport. I think the minimum is 1.5. So we're looking at ways to fix that. I think the two most viable options that we'll probably use some combination of is adding weight to the nose cone and increasing the airframe length. There are still a little bit of uncertainties regarding that, just due to the unknowns about the centering ring, motor sleeve, and boat tail assembly towards the bottom, because right now they're modeled as plywood centering rings, and we're not sure if the motor sleeve and all of those weights are accurate. So if once we do get actual correct weights for those and update them, I think that's going to just push our center of gravity back more, which will decrease our stability. So it's something we're going to be constantly looking at over the coming weeks and coming up with different solutions for different scenarios, hopefully. And then we plan to finish our centering ring, motor sleeve, boat tail, FEA by the end of the week. I think we talked about it in our meeting just before, and Omar and Arturo believe it may be best to just use hand calcs for the time being. That way we can get it a little more accurate and actually know what we're doing, and it also shouldn't take as long. And then lastly, the RockSim Zenith file. As always, analysis has issues with software and computers. So we ran into some issues with RockSim on the lab computer and the product key and licensing for that. So as of right now, we don't think we'll be able to get it back, but we'll still look at what we can do to try and get it up and running on the lab computer again. So for the time being, I'll just personally shift over the OpenRocket to RockSim on my computer. Yeah, that's it for analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. I also have one of the 3 RockSim key codes on my computer. So as I mentioned earlier, now that I don't have a job, I'll be able to spend a lot of time at the lab. But all right, I'm sure that was it. Of course, yep. I guess the meeting was just going on for a long time. But does anyone have any questions? You can type it on the chat, or you can just talk right now and mute yourself. Questions, no questions. It can be about anything. You can even be asking how my day went or how Ravi's day went.
How's your birthday been?
My birthday? Honestly, it's been like the chillest birthday. I didn't have any water at my apartment complex, so I just hung out by myself for a very, very long time, not able to do anything. And then I actually went to Starbucks to go get my free birthday Starbucks drink. And I was gonna get Chipotle for dinner because they offered me like free chips and free guac, but I didn't. So I just been hanging out, chilling. That's pretty much it. How old are you now? I am 23. I'm 23. Pretty old, I know. I know some of you are like 19 or still 18, so, you know. 30, I'm not 30, Robbie. Any other questions?
Real quick, I'm working on the surface area formula right now, and could you send in the chat the like the radius and length and stuff like that, so I can compare numbers and make sure I've got it all right?
Carlos, can you send him that on the Discord? Do it in the general. No, actually, no. DM him.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
It's
Scott.
It's coming out. It looks very similar to the one I saw in the chat, but it has different variables in it. I don't know if that's just simplification or if I messed up. So we'll see.
You're good.
That's why I'm checking.
When somebody asks, when you trying to start filming for IREC? I missed it if you said a date already. So I think the first thing I want to do when it comes to making that video for IREC is coming up with the plan. Because I think last year we weren't too sure as to what direction we wanted to go to. We weren't too sure as to how much we could do, like what our video editing capability was. So what I want is to get a team together of 5 to 10 people, have specific roles for each. For example, I heard in the chat, or I saw in the chat, that Ravi was going to be in charge of cinematography, stuff like that, right? If anything, I'm gonna make my last call for the people who want to help me out next Tuesday, and then that Wednesday or that Thursday, start working on it, meeting up, start working on that stuff as soon as possible. Yes, Ravi, bruh, you're gonna be the cinematography, because I don't know, I feel like you'll be good at that if you're interested, of course. But yeah, probably next Battle Direct the Batman. Honestly, I don't know if y'all watch the Batman, but that's one of my favorite movies of the last 10 years. It's really good. Anyways, yeah, like next Wednesday, maybe Thursday, start working on actually like, and this is a shout out to Dom if he's still listening. He made a good point of like having a plan before we start filming, because last year we kind of did, but not really having like a full plan of like what we want to do. So yeah, that's it. Any other questions? All right. If there are no questions, I'm gonna end the meeting soon. Remember, next Tuesday is gonna be a really, really, really important meeting. So sub-team leads, please emphasize that to the members. I want everyone to be there if possible. And then maybe we can have a little social after. Maybe we can have the Pinks or the Nook and just hang out, have everyone there. But yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you all for just being part of the team and keeping like working and just being here every week, week to week. I know it's a lot, but it will pay off. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a really good week. Remember to DM me if you have any questions. I'm here to help you out. All right. I'll see you later.